There's nothing quite like hearing your neighbor scream, "There's a terrorist burning down our neighborhood," when all you're doing is flipping ribs on your own grill. Yeah, you heard me right. This lady, the self-appointed queen of HOA drama, literally called 911 on my Sunday barbecue, and before I'd even had a chance to crack open my second beer, two cops were pulling up lights blazing. What happened next? Well, let's just say 9 minutes later, something wild crashed through the roof of my cabin and blew the lid off a $1.2 million scam that had been running right under everyone's nose. And it all started with a rack of ribs and a neighbor named Vivian Hayes, who had no idea what was coming for her that day. Now let me take you back a year. Just after my divorce, 15 years of marriage gone, my ex got the house, the dog, most of the savings. And I got a lakeside cabin my grandpa built back in '52. To you, it might have looked like a shack, but to me, it was the only thing left that felt like home. Grandpa was a land surveyor. Old school tough, built the place with his bare hands and left the walls covered in black and white photos. Him with his surveyor's tripod, the lake in every season, and one picture of him shaking hands with a man I never met but always wondered about. Every time I stood at the grill prepping those famous ribs, brown sugar, paprika, secret ingredient, "I'll never give up." I could practically hear his voice. "Keep all your documents, David. You never know when you'll need to prove what's yours." So there I am, Sunday afternoon, sun shining off the water, hickory smoke curling over the lake, feeling almost at peace for the first time in ages. Then I see this flash of glass in the tree's binoculars. I figure maybe it's a deer watcher or a bird nut. Wrong. Out steps Vivian Hayes, mid-50s, decked out like she's on safari, khaki vest, bulging with notebooks and measuring tapes, gray hair yanked back so tight it looks painful, face pinched like she's chewing lemons. She's filming me scribbling in a notebook, shooting photos of my ribs like I'm committing a felony. I wave, trying to be neighborly. Big mistake. She scowls harder and disappears. 10 minutes later, sirens. I'm still holding my tongs when Officers Miller and Jones roll up. Jones is already shaking his head. This isn't his first HOA rodeo, you can tell. "Sir, we got a call about a fire." And, chemical weapons, Miller says, looking at my barbecue like it might detonate. "You want a rib," I offer. Jones just groans. Let me guess, did the caller mention she's the HOA president? Yep. Apparently last month she called the cops because someone was fishing too loud, and the month before that she claimed frogs were croaking in violation of city ordinances. I kid you not. Right then Vivian bursts out of the bushes waving her phone. "Arrest him! He's trying to burn down the neighborhood. It's terrorism." She's shrieking about smoke and unauthorized meat preparation, demanding they arrest me for not having an HOA-approved grill cover like those even exist. The officers give me a look, one of those "we're so sorry" looks, and tell her barbecuing is not a crime. She storms off, screeching. She'll call her lawyer, and the cops leave. I think, okay, the circus is over, right? Nope. Buzzing overhead drone, one of those big ones, camera staring right at me, operated by none other than Vivian from across the yard. She's got the controller and this wild look like she's flying a military mission. The drone dips low right at my head. I swat at it with my beer, miss the drone, but nail it with beer spray, and the thing spirals straight into my cabin roof, vanishing with a crash. Vivian starts hollering about destruction of HOA property and assaulting an official instrument, but I'm more worried about the hole in my roof. I climb up, find the drone stuck in the rafters, plus a metal box I've never seen before wedged between the beams and covered in dust. My hands are shaking as I drag it out and open it. Inside property deeds, a surveyor's map, and a note from my grandfather. "If anyone tries to take our land or tell you what you can do on it, this is your shield. The lake is ours. No association or organization has any claim to it." Suddenly it hits me, if Grandpa's paperwork is right, the HOA's been running a scam for decades, charging lake fees on property they never even owned. That night I barely sleep. Next morning I wake up to find my property plastered with bright orange HOA violation notices, one taped right to my leftover ribs. I pull them down only to spot a kid in an oversized security shirt circling my yard snapping photos. Says his name's Kevin. Kevin Hayes. Of course, her nephew. He's so nervous he nearly drops his phone, and before I can say more, two more drones show up, one with a cinema camera, the other with a loudspeaker. Vivian's voice blasts from the speaker. You are being documented for multiple HOA infractions. Then, like something out of a cartoon, my neighbor Bill Wilson steps in, literally in boxers and combat boots, wielding a slingshot. Not in my yard, you mechanical buzzard, he yells, cracks a golf ball at the drone and sends it spiraling into the lake. Bill's a legend around here. He's been battling Vivian since day one, fined $5,000 once for having chickens. Come by my place tonight, he says. There's something you need to see. That night, Bill hands me a battered USB. I was the treasurer 10 years ago. Couldn't stand it, but before I quit, I backed up all the records. We fire up his ancient laptop, and sure enough, it's all there, $500 a month from 20 households, lake maintenance fees for 10 years, over $1 million. Expenses, almost nothing, and every homeowner signature forged. That lake, your lake, they never had any right to it. You need to bring this to the meeting. The next HOA meeting is a Zoom call because, of course, it is Vivian in her fake office, wall-to-wall trophies, dressed for a courtroom drama. 50 faces appear. I'm barely 3 minutes in before people are demanding to know where their money went. I share my screen, Grandpa's deed, the bank statements, the forged signatures. The chat goes ballistic. People crying, shouting, telling stories of paying fees they couldn't afford, getting fined for nothing, losing sleep for years. Then a new face pops up, Alex Hayes. Her son. Civil rights lawyer. I'm here as counsel for the homeowners, he says, and the room goes dead quiet. He drops the bomb, shows everyone the accounts in Vivian's name, the money siphoned into her own bank, matching every HOA collection. He's shaking. You raised me to fight for justice, Mom. I can't keep quiet. I'm turning everything over to the FBI. What happened next spread like wildfire. FBI vans, police news cameras, the whole circus. Vivian was arrested. Her office raided, files seized. Some were blackmail dossiers on half the residents, not just fines and fees, but dirt she dug up on everyone to keep them silent. She'd turned our neighborhood into a dictatorship for control. Money was just the fuel. The community rallied. New board, new rules, barbecue anytime you want, chickens welcomed, all fees slashed, and Bill, in his Hawaiian shirt, elected president. The house Vivian lost in court. Bill bought it for the whole neighborhood, turned it into a community center, the Justice BBQ House. The day the first round of refund checks went out, people cried on the steps of that old house. Families who'd nearly lost everything. Old folks finally able to retire. Kids who got to stay in the only home they'd ever known. Vivian sent me a letter handwritten. You freed me from my prison. The HOA wasn't power, it was my cage. I'm sorry. She's selling former HOA president t-shirts online, now donating the profits. Her son, he's still wrestling with what comes next, but nobody questions he did the right thing. So next time someone tells you, HOA drama can't change lives, let me tell you I watched it happen. All it took was a nosy neighbor, a rack of ribs, and a little bit of courage. You think justice is dead, not here. In this neighborhood, it's served hot off the grill with a side of poetic payback. Let me ask you, if you caught your HOA president skimming off the top, would you call them out or just pay up and hope it goes away? Comment below. Because in my experience, justice only shows up when regular people stand up and demand it.